LEGO Star Wars the video game, released in 2005, was a major part of my childhood. As a kid, I always wished that I was able to play as the awesome enemies and characters that I encountered in-game, from towering cloned walkers to droids mounted on blade-like speeders. Yo, what is up everyone? YODA'S 2003 here, and today, Dexter leaves the bar counter and Yoda's chair flies alone as I show you 10 LEGO Star Wars characters that you never knew were playable. First up is the GUNGAN warrior. This character appears in the opening segment of Invasion of Naboo, seen running from the Separatist front lines as general pandemonium ensues. When put in the player's control, he plays exactly like Jar Jar Binks. The fact that this character is fully animated and programmed with abilities gives me the feeling that this character was intended to be playable, but just maybe never made the final cut. Up next is the KAMINOANs. Appearing in the first level of Episode 2, they're a super intelligent species that works to help the Republic create their very own clone army. With their apparently peaceful nature and giraffe-like appearance, they're about as boring as a video game character can get. I don't blame Traveler's Tales for not making them playable. The most interesting thing I found about this set of characters is that the gray variety never appears in actual gameplay. It's a shame too, because it's the coolest looking one out of the three. At number 3 we have the speeder mounted battle droid. Probably among the coolest on this list, these guys float around on high speed single trooper aerial platforms, or STAPs, armed with 2 powerful blaster cannons. I was very surprised to see that not only can you move around as these enemies, but you can also actually shoot too. I found that they're actually pretty useful when it comes to mowing down giant mobs of battle droids. Definitely one of my favorites. Sitting at number 4 is Yoda's chair. Yes, you heard me right. You can actually play as Yoda's chair in all of its floaty glory. I'm not sure why it can be loaded in as a standalone character, but I love it nonetheless. It can't really do much other than move around and, that. This is obviously unintended on the developer's part. My best explanation as to why this is possible is that the chair is loaded in and treated as an entity that is completely separate from Yoda, but that's just pure speculation. Halfway through the list is the bartender droid. Found constantly wheeling around Dexter's diner, it always seems as though the humble robot is attending to invisible guests. Going on a little tangent here, but as a kid I would spend literal hours beating this character with a lightsaber, trying to see if it would die just like all the other characters could. Although, after my tiny second grader thumbs got tired, I assumed that the one-wheeled beast was unbeatable. Being able to play as the droid in any level I want feels like a childhood dream come true. Now I can finally kill that godforsaken robot as many times as I want. At number 6 is the KAMINO security droid. These droids are only seen in the KAMINO level, and as far as I know, they're actually not canon. It seems that their only purpose is to annoy the player and prevent them from reaching Jango. In addition to its pointless role in the game, the KAMINO security droid plays like a weaponized snail and is easier to hit than a mile-wide target. Despite the playability issues, I still think it would have made a fun addition to the roster of characters, maybe through the use of a cheat code or something of that sort. Next is, generic Jedi, I guess? Why is this on the list again?
Say the freaking lines!
Okay. This character appears in the Jedi battle level in the middle of Episode 2. While the character, or lack thereof, seems boring, there are a few technical differences that make the generic Jedi stand out from all the other Jedi characters. First of all, the character takes on a different appearance every time it spawns. This would explain the variety of different indistinct Jedi that we see in the level. Another interesting thing about the generic Jedi is that when it dies, it doesn't leave any pieces behind. This makes sense from a game developer's perspective, considering the sheer number of these characters that are on screen while playing the level. It would be a game breaker to spawn in 5 new models every time one of them dies. Who knew that such a plain and unnoticeable character could be so interesting? At number 8 is the spider droid. This beast is absolutely awesome to play as. Appearing in the gunship cavalry level, these robotic daddy long legs work to stop the player from destroying what I can only assume is some kind of generator. Its hilariously ridiculous size makes it difficult to play as in pretty much any level. Interestingly enough, the spider droid shoots out blaster bolts that are much larger than that of a battle droid. They're much more powerful too, because they can kill pretty much anything in one hit. Although, the advantages are far outweighed by the disadvantages. The darn thing is way too tall to hit most enemies, and it is highly immobile on anything other than flat ground. Despite this, it's still fun to play around with. At number 9 is the Clone Walker. Appearing in the 4th level of episode 3, these guys stomp around the marshy swamps of Kashyyyk, trying to eliminate any enemies in sight. This is probably one of the most exciting ones on the list, at least for me, because as a kid, I saw those clone walkers stomping around and thought, hey, that's really freaking cool. The fact that I finally get to play in this iconic vehicle just makes me want to jump out of my seat and scream out my window about it. I'll just let the footage speak for itself, cause how can anyone think that this isn't cool? That's one thing checked off my bucket list. Last but not least, it's Dexter. I can't explain why, but I have this emotional attachment to this character. Over years of playing this game, I've grown to love that four-armed potato's goofy grin and fish-like face. Some of my best gaming experiences are from playing this game, and I feel like Dexter just sort of represents that. After all, he's the first character you see when you first start up the game. Being able to play as him in any level now just makes my childhood feel complete. As you would have expected, he can't do much other than walk around, but for me, the nostalgia makes it all worthwhile. That pretty much wraps up this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, because I put a lot of effort into it and I had a lot of fun with it as well. You've watched the whole video, so you must really like what you're seeing. If that's the case, make sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell icon so that you can get notified of my future uploads. Until next time.